All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the WeBook It Podcast. Let's start the show.
Yo, what's up, WeBook It fam? This is your boy, Big Daddy C, filling in for Freaky Fritos. Tonight, he was busy taking care of some stuff. I'm just going to give you the quick recap of Smackdown. Tonight's episode of Smackdown. The Smackdown Lowdown Show is what we call it. So opening it up, we had John Cena making an appearance, returning to SmackDown after his tag team match against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, in which Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso prevailed due to the help of one R-Truth, now known by his real name as Ron Killings. So basically, Cena came out there, basically talked about how the Mount Rushmore pro wrestling is pretty much just his face 4 times because no one compares to him from the past, present, or future. He basically talked about how he's been a step ahead of everyone the entire time, and that he said that he put CM Punk in a corner by making him fight in Saudi Arabia. As we all know, Punk does not like Saudi Arabia. He's been known to make several tweets about it. One famously in regards to the Miz, who had a match at Saudi Arabia, and he basically called out Miz for taking the money, for chasing the money for the Saudi Arabia appearance. Fast forward to this year, and now Punk is chasing the money and the gold for the championship, that is. This would call out CM Punk. This would eventually bring out Cody Rhodes, who came to the ring and said that Cena was right about everything that he said. However, that he also remind John Cena that he pinned him at Money in the Bank. So he was basically saying, Cena, you was right about everything, but you didn't mention this one factor that I pinned you at Money in the Bank. So eventually, Randy Orton makes his return since losing to John Cena at Backlash in his hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. Orton comes out there, basically says he's determined to get another title shot by winning the King of the Ring tournament. Eventually, to our surprise, LA Knight comes out there and voices his opinion, saying he's trying to get out. He's trying to get at the championship as well, and eventually win the King of the Ring tournament. This led to Cena leaving the ring, basically saying, "Man, I ain't worried about you jokers." And as he was walking up the aisle, R-Truth, Ron Killings, it's going to take a minute to get used to. Ron Killings attacked him and beat him down. So Cena's heel turn hasn't been exactly, I feel like it hasn't been a run that WWE was hoping for. But I personally, I think that it hasn't been that bad. I just feel like in the way it's sometimes it comes off as forced, like he's really trying so hard to be heel and as opposed to just being natural. He'll be fine. I'm not tripping, bro. I'm enjoying this last run he's on, man. Look, he's basically talking his shit. Like, he's giving himself his flowers, and well deserves. Albeit you can love him, hate him, but he carried his goddamn company on his back, for the better part of 10 to 15 years, man. And so, this is pretty much this last run is him getting his flowers, albeit on the heel side of things, but giving him his flowers nonetheless. And Cena did mention something about Cena did reference Punk's famous tweet to the Miz about the Saudi Arabia shit. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So Orton and LA Knight did remain out there as they had a match. They were participants of a fatal four-way match along with Carmelo Hayes and Aleister Black to have a chance to move on in the King of the Ring tournament. So it was a fatal four-way match. So Melo and Black pretty much started trading shots while Knight and Orton just kind of sat back and, watched on. They eventually locked up once Aleister Black took Carmelo Hayes out of the ring. There was a commercial break. We came back. Melo was pretty much, just going crazy, taking it to everybody with a flurry of, fast-paced offense. A lot of unpredictability in this match. All four guys, you could make a bet for all four of them, honestly, to win it. But eventually there was a moment where, Black Orton and Knight had like a weird, awkward exchange. But eventually, Knight was preparing to hit his elbow drop from the top rope, or at least from the middle rope, and then Bronson Reed shows up and pulls him off the top rope. Braun Breaker comes out of nowhere, spears the hell out of him, kind of getting his revenge from Monday Night Raw after costing Braun Breaker his spot in his fatal four-way match for the King of the Ring tournament. Melo would try to hit a frog splash on LA Knight, only to be caught with an RKO and simultaneously hitting the splash on LA Knight. And Orton pretty much got the pin. He pinned LA Knight for the win. Orton is now moving on in the King of the Ring tournament. This match was pretty solid. I loved it. A lot of fast-paced action here. All credible guys in the ring. Any one of them could have won the match, to be honest with you. Next up, we had the first fatal four-way match for the women's on the Smackdown side for the Queen of the Ring tournament. Jade, Cargill, Piper Niven, Nia Jax, and Michin. This match was I liked it. I pretty much enjoyed this match as well. Prior to that, Jacob Fatu did come out, basically explained why he pretty much talked about his actions, Money in the Bank, turning on Solo Sikoa, basically saying that, hey, I'm not going to allow you to turn your back on me, try to, not turn your back, but like kind of cheap shot me, basically. And so, and then while he was talking, Solo was on the pretty much came up on the screen, said that Fatu made a mistake and want Money in the Bank, but he's willing to forgive him if he says, I love you, Solo, next week. I don't think that's going to happen, so it is what it is. Now, moving forward to that match, that fatal four-way match, Nia Jax and Piper Niven took each other out temporarily, and then eventually Jay, Cargill, and Michin would square off in the ring. And then even Piper Niven and Nia Jax will form a temporary alliance to beat up on Jade until Michin would take everybody out with a moonsault. And so this was pretty solid spots. Piper Niven hit her Piper bomb on Michin, and then eventually Jade would come up out of nowhere and hit Piper Niven with Jaded for the 1-2-3, and she is officially moving on in the Queen of the Ring tournament. Next up, we had a funny backstage segment with Nick Aldis and Zelina Vega. Basically, she was asking for a match with Julia, so I can't wait for that match. That's going to be pretty solid. Next up, we We had the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Wyatt Sicks. We know previously Wyatt Sicks had returned, attacking pretty much the entire tag team division, including Street Profits and DIY, as well as Fraxium. And so Motor City Machine Guns pretty much stepped up to the challenge. Prior to this, had Naomi come out and cut a promo to celebrate the Money in the Bank victory. She indicated that she plans to go after Tiffany's title. Tiffany would come out there in response to this. Tiffany was saying, hey, are you going to cash in? Cash in then. What's up? And then Naomi was like, I ain't going to do that. I'm going to do it when I least expect and we least expect it. Duh. That's the point of having Money in the Bank. You can challenge a person anywhere, anytime. Like, duh. What person? The only two people in history that I know, like, that have challenged. Well, there's been two occasions that I've known in which somebody announced that they're going to challenge for an official match. The first person was RVD. RVD challenge John Cena ahead of time. He told him, hey, I'm cashing in this shit at ECW One Night Stand on my turf. Be ready. Cena was like, all right, cool. And then years later, Cena would turn around and do the same thing when CM Punk was champion. He said, hey, I'm going to cash in. This is on the Monday Night Raw. This is on the 1000th episode of Monday Night Raw. And Cena lost. Ironically enough, Cena lost both of those matches. He lost fair. He lost because of Edge the first time around, but he got pinned because it was Extreme Rules, so anything goes. The second time he cashed in on Punk. He had Punk in the STF, and then Big Show came out there, cost him the championship. But yeah, so that there was the only two instances in which the third one I would say had to be when Damian Sandow cashed in on John Cena. It was an official match and he ended up losing within 5 minutes or so. I think somebody cost him the championship. I forgot who it was. But yeah, those are the only three occasions in which somebody actually cashed in, actual match where it was scheduled ahead of time. So, but Naomi, I'm like, come on now, let's be real. But yeah, so Tiffany basically was throwing shots at her. So are you gonna cash in, or are you gonna just prove that you ain't worth nothing? That you couldn't beat Nia Jax for whatever reason. So as Naomi was about to leave, Nia Jax attacked Tiffany Stratton from behind. The champion tried to fend her off, but she ended up getting hit with the Annihilator. Naomi was trying. She tried. She looked like she was about to cash in, but Nia Jax was like, "Nah, stay out of this. This ain't what you want." I'm like, I don't want to be the one to beat Tiffy for the title. And so next up, then we had the tag team match between the Motor City Machine Guns and the Wyatt Sicks. Loomis and Gacy pretty much took control immediately throughout this match. And then after we came back from commercial break, Motor City Machine Guns began to make a comeback. Unfortunately, it did not last long for those two. Loomis hit a huge leg drop from the top rope to get the pin and the win. Wasn't much here for this match, but it's good to see the Wyatt Sicks getting some wins and adding to their momentum. Next up, we had another Cena came back out to cut another promo. Basically stormed to the ring, calling out Ron Killings. Basically said that he crossed the line and disrespected him, so he called him out for a fight. Instead of Ron Killings coming out, CM Punk would show up. And so Punk basically tried to tell Cena that he needs to stop doing what he's doing and give the crowd a happy ending to his run. Punk said that they're starting to sound like each other because Punk is making childish insults. And Cena is threatening to leave with the belt. So it's kind of ironic. So like considering 2011 how that rivalry went. And Punk also mentioned that he beat him twice. He beat him in Chicago for the championship in 2011. And then he also beat him, I believe, 2013. In Cena's hometown. So it's just like, he's like, I done beat you twice, man. I done beat you twice, for the championship. So, and I'm going to beat you again. And so as Punk was leaving, R-Truth would attack Ron Killings would attack John Cena from behind once again, because he attacked him. He attacked him early on in the night. And then he locked in Cena. He locked in the STF on Cena while Punk he grabbed the mic and was yelling, sorry, John, sorry, but the truth hurts, and then dropped the mic and left. And it took like several security guards to pull pull Ron Killings off of John Cena. The end of this segment was solid. It was entertaining. Anytime you see CM Punk and John Cena in the ring giving promos, they're gonna deliver, man. It's just what it is. Certain superstars, they got chemistry with each other in that ring, man. And, these guys deliver even after well over a decade of not being in the ring together, consistently giving out promos. And so I cannot wait for this match whenever it happens. And so it's pretty much there. Moving on, we had our second Queen of the Ring fatal four-way match between Charlotte Flair, Alba Fyre, Alexa Bliss, and Candice LeRae. And so this was the second one of the night. Alba Fyre and Candice LeRae will form an alliance very quickly and went after Flair and Bliss to get an advantage. Flair would eventually fight back until Alexa Bliss took her down with the crossbody from the top rope after coming back from a commercial break. Bliss took out all three opponents with the Tower of Doom. She went on a rampage until Charlotte Flair will put her in a figure eight. And so this is pretty pretty solid match. Obviously, as Flair and Fyre Flair had Fyre locked in the figure eight. Bliss would hit her finisher on Candice LeRae and got the pin before Alba Fyre could tap out. And so it's kind of like a little she kind of like weaseled her way in, like just kind of snuck in a little bit, like should have been quicker than that. But yeah, so I'm glad Alexa Bliss won this match. And so I would not mind seeing her win the Queen of the Ring. Honestly, between her and Jade, those are pretty much my two. I would not mind seeing either of those two win it on the SmackDown side. And so yeah, Bliss is moving on. There's a backstage moment where Nick Aldis met up with Ron Killings. Was like Ron, what are you doing, bro? Like, you tagged this man twice in one night. What's going on, bro? Like you need to chill out. And then Ron was like, hey, look, I won't see you next week. And Aldis like, you want him? Cool, you got it. So Ron Killings versus John Cena next week on Smackdown. Hey, I'm ready for all of it. I'm ready. So let's bring it on. Let's bring it on. Next up, we had our main event, Cody Rhodes, the second. This is the second King of the Ring fatal four-way match. Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Andrade. And so this main event was pretty. It gave you everything you needed. We know these guys, a few NXT guys, and of course Cody Rhodes. Ironically enough, his dad, was a big part of NXT and pretty much bringing up a lot of those, helping bring up a lot of those men and women that we see on the main roster today. And so This match is pretty solid. Nakamura tried to leave the ring so everybody else could fight, but Rhodes to the suicide dive to take him down. This left Andrade and Priest in the ring to fight until Cody Rhodes came back up in there. There's a lot of time left in the show, so all four of the guys were able to get a good amount of offense in without anything having to be rushed. Cody Rhodes was sent through the Slim Jim table, which was looked like the way he went through it is almost like in a video game in WWE 2K when people go through the table. And so it's just weird. I will say it's weird seeing logos on tables after so many years of like seeing WWE matches with people going through tables. There's never been a logo on it. And so it just felt kind of weird this time around, but it is what it is. But after a few close calls, Cody Rhodes would eventually catch on and get Nakamura with the crossroads for the pin and the win, and he is officially moving on in the King of the Ring tournament. I believe he will be facing Randy Orton. And so that's going to be a solid match, man. We know the rivalry between those two, so finally we get to see it one more time, man. So yeah, Rhodes and Punk had a moment backstage. They shook hands, but indicated that they would likely end up facing each other down the line, which I would not mind seeing either. We know there's so much history with those two as well. And so that was pretty much a main event for the show, man. A pretty solid. Damn, I cannot talk tonight. A pretty solid show for SmackDown tonight. And so we're on the road to the king and queen of the ring. And so, we know what the stakes are with these matches. Whoever wins their respective matches gets a future opportunity at the respective world championships. I believe, I want to say, I don't know if it's of their choosing or whichever contestant wins, they face their show's champion, basically. And so I can't wait to see how this all unfolds. This will be a SmackDown recap under the Smackdown Lowdown Show. Filling in for Freaky Fritos, the OG Booker of the year. And so we'll catch you guys on Sunday for the Variety Show pod. We'll be on the lookout for that. And so Big Daddy C signing out. Thanks for always going to be tuning in to this episode. Continue to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And last but not least, keep those booking pencils sharp and keep on booking.